Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Here is another video from the sacred sanctuary or Sanctuar Sacru in Romanian by my Red Baron over there on an improvised rifle rack, which is two pieces of wood in ground. A beautiful fire here. A solar panel, I know. It actually works to power. Behind it is a little generator that will provide me with energy for charging my iPad, telephone, and other things. I don't have electricity here. And there is a new old axe that I'm using to chop wood. Here, beautiful afternoon, quiet, a lot of bald eagles. I have my binoculars close by, and I saw a few locking talons and going down. I think it's a mating ritual between a male and a female. So this is where I'm right now. I put over there some little seeds for some birds behind that, and the chipmunks are eating most of them, but the birds are also. There's a big tree here where bald eagles and ravens and crows land, and a falcon, one falcon, and a lot of birds. This is like the you saw it in my previous videos. This is like a observatory tower. All right, so what do we have here? We have a few videos I'm gonna make this afternoon, and the articles that I'm going to discuss today are as follows. Trump says that he's ready and close to ending Russia's war on Ukraine. We'll see how that will happen. The Russians kill mercenaries from in Kharkiv Oblast from Poland, United States of America, and Colombia. They provide bank accounts, and they provide an Oregon driver's license and a passport. Next one. According to Donald Trump, China becomes more aggressive, very aggressive towards United States of America. Therefore, he has to react in self-defense and protect us and the businesses, and slapping China with 100% tariffs. We're going to discuss what the consequences of that will be. And remember, we are always the victim, and everybody picks on the bully because they know they will get slapped. All right. We never do anything wrong. We always do everything right, unless we have to hate ourselves, and then United States of America does bad stuff. The next topic. Trump thanks President Putin. Why? It's related to Nobel's Peace Prize. Turkey might switch sides, which is from NATO into the axis of China and Russia. This is according to the nationalists in Turkey, if they take power. China becoming very hostile, obviously. And then we have another topic, phone call between Zelensky and Trump. And mostly is about the Tomahawk missiles. So what will happen with the Tomahawk missiles? Do you think that they will be delivered? Well, that gets me to the first point, the first topic, which is Trump said that he's about to end the war, the Russia's war against Ukraine. How do you think you're going to do this? According to an article from New Voice of Ukraine, Trump says he's close to ending Russia's war on Ukraine. Well, I think if that is to happen, which I don't think will happen on two extremes. One, either Trump orders Zelensky to stop, as he could, but I don't think the forces surrounding him allow him to do that, or in charge of him, or he's going to continue to provide Ukraine with aid, as they call it, and they will provide everything that needed to be provided, or even with the troops or a no-fly zone, Tomahawks and so on, which is actually direct involvement of the United States of America in the war. We'll find out. These are, I think, the two extremes under which this war will end if Trump decides to end it. And he could talk to Zelensky. Maybe the phone call that occurred today between the two was one that Trump could have said, okay, Zelensky, that's it. And you know why? I think it's because of the peace Nobel Peace Prize, which in my assessment is a sham. People who would deserve to get it did not get it, and people who did not do anything about acquiring one got it, like President Obama. And remember, he got in Libya, in Syria, and so on. So, but nevertheless, he got it. He got it even before he was sworn in as the president. That's, for me, that did it. I mean, actually, for me, Nobel Peace Prize did it when I learned that Elie Wiesel's book Nights got the Nobel Peace Prize for literature. Nobel's Peace Prize is a politicized body. That's what it is. So that's the first topic. Second one, Russia Today names foreign mercenaries reportedly killed in Ukraine. Earlier reports suggested that U.S., Colombian, and Polish nationals were neutralized in Kharkov region. And we have three names here. We have a name of an Oregon resident, William Francis McGrath, a Colombian passport, and a Ukrainian bank record for Wilfredo Martinez Almeida, who's 46, and a Polish vehicle registration listing Gregorz Rafal Wasilewski as the owner. Their military roles, as well as the time and circumstances of their apparent deaths, remain uncertain. And they provide with receipts, they provide with bank account, with Oregon driver's license, and passports, and whatever. Wilfried from Germany. Was his father a, you know what I mean? Or grandfather, not father, grandfather. All right. China becomes more aggressive, Donald Trump says. And it's very interesting how everybody wants to get a piece of the United States of America in an aggressive way because they know they can beat the United States of America. That goes without saying. So an article from Russia Today, let me put my goggles on. China, and I'm quoting, becoming very hostile. Trump, the US president, has blasted Beijing for restricting certain rare earth exports and vowed to retaliate with tariffs. So if NATO, which is the United States of America, did not really end Putin's reign in 48 hours as they thought will, therefore militarily, I think that's a flop. Financially or economically, they can't beat China, let alone BRICS. Threats against the BRICS countries, but they can't beat China. So first show me you kneel China, and then we move on. As of now, militarily you're blocked in Ukraine, and financially you're blocked by China. Yeah, the European Union did not even dare to block anything because they have no balls. So Trump said this. In a post on Truth Social on Friday, Trump responded with a threat to target Chinese imports into U.S. One of the policies that we are calculating at this moment is a massive increase of tariffs. Now, wouldn't it be normal, I don't know, maybe you tell me, wouldn't it be normal for President Trump to pick up the phone and call Xi Jinping? Wouldn't that be, I mean, I'm guarantee you Xi Jinping will answer the phone. Wouldn't that be no? Why do you go through social media? What is this? I personally don't understand between two men this kind of behavior. This is not man behavior. This is something else behavior. What do you put on two social so people, the media sells advertisers and so on, commercials. Is that what it is? You take the phone, discuss with the other guy, and that's it. What's so hard? But I think the ego doesn't allow Trump to do that. I'm going to make a phone call. Make a phone call, man. Meet the guy. Talk to him directly. And say, let's solve the problems right now. We're going to meet in the future if necessary. We're going to speak every night. You post it on Truth Social. Why? You threaten them by that, by indirect. What is this? Kindergarten? And this is what he says. Trump also threatened to cancel a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping that was scheduled to take place 2 weeks at the APEC summit in South Korea. And okay, in 2 weeks they will meet. And I threatened to... What is this, man? What is this? This is childish behavior. This is not man-like behavior. You're afraid of blackmail and threats by that. Call the guy, tell him straight in his face, and that's it. He's gonna hang up the phone on you, and that's it. But at least you know where you're at. I'm not gonna meet you. I will cancel the meeting. Fuck off. I mean, it's really, or buzz off. Really, really. And this is what he says. Some very strange things are happening in China. They are becoming very hostile and sending letters to countries throughout the world that they want to impose exports control on each and every element of production having to do with rare earths and virtually anything else that can think of. Anything else they can think of? How about condoms? Even if it's not manufactured in China, nobody has ever seen anything like this. Nobody. You talk like Peterson, like Jordan Peterson. All right, in general, in absolute terms. And we want to impose exports control on each and every and they can think of, nobody have ever seen anything. Essentially, it would clog the markets. You're talking about clogging the markets? This would clog the markets and make life difficult for virtually every country in the world. So Trump all of a sudden is concerned with every country in the world. This is so idiotic, man. This is so weasel-like. All right, our relationship with China over the past 6 months have been a very good one, thereby making this move on trade an even more surprising one, he noted. My friends, what happened? On Thursday, Beijing announced new restrictions on export of certain strategic materials that have dual use and military application, saying the move was intended to protect national security and meet international obligations, including those related to non-proliferation. What do you want? What do you want? And that's hostile? So China has to sell America something or no? Is it bound by something? By contracts. If a contract expires and I don't want to make deals with you, am I hostile? If I am hostile, then the United States of America was hostile towards Japan before the Second World War. You don't know what I'm talking about? The United States of America told the Japanese government, you will not go and buy your raw materials in Southeast Asia. Japan was like, what? Yeah, you want to industrialize? You're not going to have the resources because we say so. From across the Pacific Ocean, we tell you can't buy there. And the Japanese says, no, come on, don't be now. And the American says, you do what I tell you. Otherwise what? We're going to strike you. Well, do it. And that's how it was the 7th of December, 1941 attack on, not on America, on a territory, okay? Hawaii was not yet a state, but nevertheless, they destroyed most of the fleet. These guys knew about it. We're not going to go over that. Just so you know. So you have to be consistent. If I don't want to make a deal with you, am I hostile to you? Well, just because I don't make a deal with you? How about I want your house for free and you don't want it? Are you hostile to me? Well, it doesn't make sense maybe to make a deal with me like that. The same with these guys. It's not in my national interest to do it. So, or I have to do it. And then why? So this hegemonic, narcissistic, how do you call that, arrogant way of dealing with strong countries is just aggravating a lot of strong countries. And let me go on this one here. U.S. to impose 100% tariffs on China, Trump says. The president's announcement sent shockwaves through global stock markets. Anybody here wants a bullet in the teeth? President Donald Trump has announced that the U.S. will impose 100% tariffs on Chinese goods beginning November 1st. 2025 in response to what he describes as Beijing's extraordinary aggressive new trade restrictions. Based on the fact that China has taken this unprecedented position, the United States of America will impose the tariffs on 100% on China over and above any tariffs that they are currently paying. That's it. Got it? In August, the UN and China, 30 days, remember, he tried to destroy them and they didn't bow. The president's announcement sent shockwaves through global markets, sending U.S. stocks down on Friday. Now, if you knew this, that Trump will do that, you would have been rich or bankrupt. That's why it's always good to know people in politics. They can give you a clue ahead of time, if you know what I mean. I know, it's illegal. Yeah. All right. The president announced, sending U.S. stocks down on Friday. The S&P 500 slid 2.7%. That's a lot. Marking its biggest one-day loss since April, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped nearly 900 points or 1.9%. The tech heavy. Nasdaq plunged 3.6% as investors fled high growth stocks seen as most exposed to Chinese supply chains. All right, clear? All right, keep going. Show me you Neil China, and then we're talking. And let me show you another one here. U.S. new China tariffs would boomerang back on Americans. Here's why. And they say consumers will pay. Well, it's true, but if you win the war, then you will take everything back. Strategic industries at risk. It's true. And another one, they say from inflation to stagflation. Inflation has hovered around 2.3 to 2.9% under Trump. Some economists now fear tariffs could trigger stagflation. High inflation coupled with high unemployment and economic stagnation. That's stagflation. And U.S. has lost its leverage. Indeed, it's lost, I think. But hey, what can we do? Well, maybe you should discuss with people in a more of an equal term than impose all the time, blackmail, threat, and all that. Trump thanks Putin for Nobel Peace Prize comment. Why? Because Putin was asked about the Nobel Peace Prize. By the way, Trump lost it to a Venezuelan activist. It's politicized, as I said. And Putin said that he is not for him. He's very diplomatic, Putin, and he said, it's not for me to decide, it's for the body from Nobel Peace Prize body to determine. But I think Donald Trump did a lot for peace process around the globe. That means compared with Venezuelan one country, one thing. And he said that I've seen that many is politicized body, and I saw people who did not do anything for peace being awarded the peace prize, and he didn't give names. So Trump reads that, obviously, and with his big ego after he cried all night, the US president was passed over for the award on Friday in favor of Venezuelan opposition politician. So this is what he says, speaking in Dushanbe on Friday, the Russian president, who was on state visit in Tajikistan, ICC court signatory, so he should have arrested him, but they didn't, obviously, remarked the Nobel Committee has a history of awarding individuals who, in fact, and I'm quoting, did nothing for peace, thus discrediting the honor of the award to a large extent. Putin noted that while it was not his place to decide who should get the prize, Trump is, and I'm quoting, really doing a lot to resolve difficult crises which last for years and decades. So, in a post on Truth social platform, Trump published a screenshot of Putin speaking, declaring, quote unquote, thank you to President Putin. It wouldn't make sense to me, but nevertheless, thank you to President Putin. All right, I think that was nice. Now let's see what and this comes also from the same information comes from the Ukrainians. I have an article from the Ukrainians who have something to say about it, obviously, but comes from Ukrainska Pravda. Trump thanks Putin for praising his peace efforts and criticizing Nobel's committee. Criticizing? Okay, well, it seems like Putin cannot do anything right. So let's go to the next topic, Turkey. From NATO's flank to Eurasia's core, Turkey's break with the West begins, according to Russia Today. A bold core for a Turkey-Russia-China alliance marks the deepest ideological shift in Turkish nationalism since Cold War and a test of Erdogan's strategic balancing act. So this is a lecturer at the Faculty of Economics of So is someone who says, this is what I see. An opinion, or an assessment, or a study. For decades, Turkish nationalists marched under the NATO flag, but now one of Turkey's most influential right-wing leaders is calling for a turn east towards Russia and China. His proposal may mark the country's clearest ideological break with Atlanticism since joining the alliance. So, this is the person that you need to know the name. His name is Devlet Bahçeli. I will spell it Devlet Bahceli, leader of the Nationalist Movement Party MHP, and a longtime ally of President Erdogan. Okay, so this guy Bahceli emphasized that such an alliance is the most suitable option, considering reason, diplomacy, the spirit of politics, geopolitical conditions, and the strategic environment of the new century. Well, the Turks were screwed most of the time, except Cyprus. That's the only place where Turkey was not screwed. Turkey was screwed many times over by the Anglo-Saxons, including the European Union. They were snubbed so many times. They didn't want Turkey in the European Union. NATO gave them some weapons, deployed nuclear weapons, Jupiter nuclear weapons, that they were taken off after Khrushchev smacked around JFK in the, remember, the Cuban Missile Crisis. In 6 months, within 6 months, they took their nuclear weapons from Turkey, and they used them as a buffer for Israel, not for Israel, that to protect the Kurds in a certain way. You say, oh, I don't know about this guy want to destroy the Kurds. Well, you know, they play a very important role, the Turks. That's the bottom line, especially because of their geopolitical position. Will they turn into China, Russia? No, they won't. They will play, as we say in Romanian, vor fi cu curul în două luntri. They will have their asses in both boats. That is, if this boat sinks, up they shift to the other one. If the other boat sinks, up they play at two ends, something like that. So that's with these guys. I don't think they will switch. They will try to get the best S-400 from the Russians, maybe the F-35 from the Americans. That's what they do. That's good. And then let's see the phone call between Trump and Zelensky. Stein, according to Ukraine Forum, on the 11th of October, a phone call between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump is currently underway. This was at 16:10, so at 4:10, probably Kiev's time, there would be about what, 7 hours Eastern time back. So they would be over there about what, 9 o'clock a.m. here. Right now is almost 2 o'clock. So connected with that, we have another article from Ukraine Forum from 1912, which is 7 p.m. 7:12 p.m. Trump, Zelensky discussed delivery of Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. They discuss. U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky have discussed the possibility of providing Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk missiles. Now it could be like this: Zelensky telling Trump, "Give me the shalom, give me the Tomahawk missiles," and Trump says no. And they discussed, okay? Or it could be like Trump saying, "Yeah, you know what, Zelensky, we're going to deploy our troops over there to make sure that your Tomahawks will hit the targets, and then you're going to be not you." Ukrainians will be bombarded by the Russians and probably the Poles and others. But it's okay. It's not us. It's everybody else. So we're smart and they're stupid. Okay. So according to two sources who, with knowledge, Trump spoke on Saturday with Zelensky and they discussed the possibility of Ukraine obtaining Tomahawks long-range missiles. The source did not say any final decision has been made. The call between the two leaders lasted around 30 minutes. One pop. So, no. He says, earlier, Zelensky said that during the recent meeting with Trump in New York, the U.S. president, for the first time, did not reject the request for Tomahawk missiles deliveries. Well, I tell you this. If they get delivered, they will not be operated by the Ukrainians, it will be operated by the Americans. Therefore, the Russians said very clearly, if that would be the case, if they're delivered, not if they're operated, they're not like debating that. And the Americans never said, no, it's not us. They never said that. Say, no, it's going to be operated by the Ukrainians. No, we trained them. Never. So the Russian says, and then we're a direct confrontation and serious consequences. This is what the Russian says. Serious consequences. What could be the serious consequences? I don't know. Maybe a few military bases struck somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. Like the Iranians did to the Americans in Qatar. What the Americans did? Oh, well, it's 1-on-1. But actually, we won a little bit. That's Trump's take. He never loses, only the Nobel Peace Prize. If I were, let me tell you this, If I were at the level of Donald Trump, I'm talking about being the president and being, as important as he were, and someone would try to nominate me, and I will be nominated, I will say no, I refuse to be nominated in this, or I will refuse. Why? Not to be snubbed and say you didn't win. Because if I would win, they would be my snub and say, you know what? Here I am. I give it to, I don't know, Jashanju, blah blah blah. I give it to Putin. All right, let's say, and then I fuck everybody up. And they would say, oh my God. Or I would say from the get-go, no, I refuse. I don't believe in you. You lost your authority. That's what I would do. But hey, that means balls and means a little bit of being truthful. But these guys are all begging for the Nobel Peace Prize. For what? For the money? I don't think it's the money. It's lost its validity. If someone comes, Nobel Peace Prize, you must have kissed a lot of ass, must belong to a certain group, mostly, or you're going to be promoted towards some political activism towards destroying some countries. That's what it is, or nations, or culture, civilization. This is Nobel Peace Prize for you. All right, it seems like with shade, that little thing got, it says 10 watts. That's how I read. I think it's charging. Otherwise, it's 110. It charges the whole battery in 5.5 hours. It's a good thing. We'll find out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I intend of putting a lot of cameras in the area here. Motion cameras, night vision cameras on battery with connection, so I can be on my telephone wherever I am making love, and hey, who that, and then activate my in the trees. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.